And once again, happy Saturday. I seem to have a habit of going live on Saturday. Okay, where's my pin? One moment. Okay. I did what my higher self has been prompting me to do for over a year now. I have a blank piece of paper with no notes, and here I am going live with no notes. I finally broke down and got a haircut when I went in to get my haircut today. I showed her the picture of what I was thinking about, and she said, "That would be chopping a foot of your hair off." And I said, "I know, I'm hot and I can't take this weather anymore." So I got in the car to go check on a client's tree that's a couple blocks from here. And I was only gone like 10 minutes. My phone was overheating and I wasn't even using it. So I got out of the car, walked up the steps, and had to put my phone in the freezer. Oh, Susan, hi, how are you? Oh, I forgot to cover up the comments. Oh, well. That was my other promise to self. So it's been so hot here, and the energy is so high that it's causing things to malfunction. Now, sometimes we expect things like older cars or older air conditioners to malfunction, but the things that I have aren't even old that are malfunctioning. So, what's going on with this energy? There's a lot of action in this energy, okay? So, maybe for the last couple years, we've needed to course correct, um, which I talk about all the time. We know what course correction is. I don't really need to delve into that. However, right now, the energy is of taking action, okay? So we're done with the course correction. And now it's time to take action. There is a bell of freedom ringing in the air, if you can feel that. I feel you. Yep, it's still 95 here, and it's like, what, 8 o'clock? So, tech issues. Okay, my phone is only November old, okay? So, my car is new as well as the phone and the air conditioner and everything else. But that seems to be a little bit struggling right now. But the crazy thing is, these are new things that are struggling in this energy, and so this drastic heat, this drastic energy made me go to the hairdresser and be like, "Let's just cut it all off," which I obviously didn't do. I just got 3 inches cut off. Neither here nor there. Let me give you an example of what I mean. First of all, I went in and the thumbnails that you see of trees and flowers and whatever, this is my yard, this is my garden, or the flowers inside my house. That's what I'm making my thumbnails out of. It's my own indoor flower arrangements or my garden. So when I uploaded the thumbnail 10 minutes ago for this video, my phone said this video is scheduled for June 18th of 2024. That was 4 days ago. So maybe the freedom energy is really 4 days old. I don't know. We have a hard time concentrating when it's this hot. Hello, living light to dark dawn, rock solid. Yes, the heat is definitely on. I cannot take it much longer. I wondered if it was natural, part of this exhilarating, exuberating, brilliant solar cycle, or if part of it is being manipulated. And I said, I speak for millions when I say that if we are going through this weather due to manipulation rather than a part of the solar cycle, I command it along with millions of others to be stopped. And the heat hasn't stopped. So normally when I say things like that, if they are created from a manipulated source, they then dissipate or disappear. This did not. One thing I want to tell you about extreme heat is it does force us to acclimate and to transform cells, DNA, everything at a molecular level. The heat physically forces our body to do that. However, we do have to be really careful with that. And one of the things I'm going to suggest, because with this heat for the last, I would say 9 days, I get up in the morning, drink 3 glasses of water, then I go over to coffee, and then I gotta go lay back down. It is so unbelievably hot in here. So this morning or yesterday morning when I woke up, what I did instead of drinking just regular water is I drank salt water with vitamin C in it, and then I was not back in bed 10 minutes later. Okay, I can't touch this chair. My back is actually burning up. So, where are we? This is a time of taking action. And if you've been the person all along that's been in this energy of renewal and transformation and action taking, then this more speaks to the people in your life and your connections and the people around you than you per se. Okay, if you've not been in action taking mode, if you've been in contemplation or reflection or introspection for many months or many years, yes, this will be you taking action. So for the last couple of years, we've had kind of brought on by our own personal evolution, but kind of brought on by the solar cycle itself, is that we are experiencing all of this up leveling. And though the heat does force you at a cellular level to transform and radiate your own brilliance and take action and move forward, we are going to absolutely have to probably do, you can do Gatorade, but we all know that's real junk, so I don't really recommend doing Gatorade, okay? But like lemon water with salt in it, or vitamin C water with salt in it, or something. It is so hot, it's like the water is not actually getting through. And it's a good thing because it is forcing us, like I said, to transform, to up level on a cellular level. But at the same time, the heat can actually be dangerous if we're not getting enough salt and we're sweating. You know, I shovel and cut down trees and plant things for a living, so I can easily, it can be hot and get sweaty outside, but like I will get out of my car and pick up the shovel and water is just running off my eyebrows straight into my eyes. I cannot even put anything on my face or in my hair, nothing. I'm already an insect to the bee magnet, that's a whole other story. This is the time of taking action. If you've had dreams or thoughts or desires or wishes or passions or new directions and you haven't gone forward, this is your time to do so. This is a time of being free contractually from things that no longer serve us. Again, most of you here watching have been following your own brilliance, your own inner guidance, and have been taking those steps. In which case, this will be people in your life, your family, your friends, your coworkers, perhaps your divine masculine, okay? It is action taking time. What do they say in the movies? Act 1, Scene 2, right? So, taking action. Now, because it was so hot and there was nothing else that I could think to do, I laid down and meditated for probably 8 times a day because it's so hot. Like I said, I can't even walk right now. I did go out and walk yesterday. It didn't last very long. Even trying to walk around barefooted, the sidewalks are exuberantly beyond hot. I got blisters, slight blisters on the bottoms of both of my feet just for stepping on it for like 10 seconds. And I hurried up and put my shoes back on as quickly as I could. This is a time of taking action. If you have already taken your own action, this is the time of others around you taking action for you, towards you, on your behalf, or making grand gestures or invitations, celebrations. All I kept getting through the energy over and over today was the freedom bell ringing personally for us. I am free contractually from things that no longer serve me. So, the heat, if you're experiencing this kind of heat, you need lemon, you need salt, you need vitamin C, you need multiple things because water alone is not going to keep you hydrated at all. Okay, so several things I've been noticing. One is a constant technology. I don't even want to say failure. I want to say like activation of some trip switch. So when I uploaded the thumbnail for this video, it said it was scheduled for June 18th, 2024. 18 has a big significance to me. Neither here nor there. That was 4 days ago. So the other day I was driving my brand new car that had like 7 miles on it. I was on the highway in I think it was 60 or 65 zone, and this is one of the most annoying things about new cars. So it flashes what the speed limit is and then what is the speed that you're going. And I looked down, I just felt called to look down at the speedometer, and I was pretty much going the flow of traffic. I was going 65, and my car said that I was going 65 into 35, and it did that for like 10 minutes. Tonight, I tried to go live and do a video on Facebook. It kept giving me slow connection, disconnecting me. I couldn't figure out how to even connect to my own home Wi-Fi, which automatically happened when I turned the Wi-Fi adjustment off on my phone. Many interesting things came through in my multiple meditations today. One was all of the things you felt were coming, or all the things that you knew were course correction for you and the people in your life. The bell of freedom has rung. Okay, so whatever you've been expecting it because you can feel it all the way down to a cellular level, especially when it comes to our connectedness with the reason, people, places, and things that we came here to do. So there's a freedom bell that I was hearing. Now, the last meditation I did about an hour and a half ago was I was really looking at the interaction of the sun. If you've been following me for the last couple years, you know I've said some pretty outlandish things about the sun, showing us geometry, that it's more like a two-way computer assimilation. The sun is not just this ball of fire that sustains all of life on beautiful planet Earth. It's way, way, way more than that. I have said since 2018 that it is a computer, an interactive computer generator that shows us a sign, a signal, a download, a piece of geometry when we are out in it. And then when we go back out in it, the sun, as a two-way computer, can read us until that we've acclimated to that code, and will send the next geometric pattern to us. It's absolutely incredible, but it goes way further than that. Now, I've had this curiosity since 2021, whether maybe humans themselves were having something to do with the transformation of the sun. Is it solely that the sun is transforming, right? Because we've been hearing for probably a decade, the sun's going through a different cycle. Things are transforming, transmuting, realigning at a cellular level across the board for all sentient life. So this we already know. However, today when I laid down, I've had that question in the back of my mind since 2018. It was something that I noticed with certain people, that solar flares were very interactive with us. Okay, so for example, I had a clearing with Scott Evans when I was in, I almost said Oklahoma. That's weird. Brazil came to my mind. I don't know if somebody who's watching in Brazil. No, none of you that are here are in Brazil. But I suppose it's just getting extremely hot in here, and I'm melting, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to last. But the last meditation I took about an hour and a half ago, I asked specifically, is this just a solar cycle where the sun and the sun's evolution through its own cycle, through its long count of the calendar, is changing and changing us along with it, or is it part of us? Now, one of the reasons that I'm saying this is because on my birthday a couple years ago, I had an on and off conversation with someone for about 6 years. And that conversation was very heated, like in a passionately, we see things the same way, we're on the same page, we're on the same level, very beneficial yin yang kind of connection. And I noticed that I started feeling extreme heat, and then I looked at the end of that day, we had 26, now my birthday's on the 26th, and my interaction with this person that particular day, which is the longest interaction I had ever had with him, we had 26 solar flares. So we were having solar flares every hour that we were interacting. So I've had this question since 2021. Is this just part of the long count cyclical happening where the sun transforms and then transforms all sentient life? Or are we playing a bigger role in this? And the answer was that in the third dimension, we play a part in absolutely everything. Now, if we were in a higher dimensional realm talking about our interaction with the sun, that would be completely different. But since we are in a physical body and interacting with the sun, such as sun gazing or just saying, wow, what a beautiful sunny day, I really appreciate the sun sustaining life, I appreciate how the sun feels on my skin, giving that love and that honor, right? Like the ancient people did, giving that honor and that respect to that solar deity, that I am presence. It's interesting because there's 19 people watching, and 19 is the number of the sun card in tarot. How perfect. So the answer when I asked was, it's not just that we have shifted into this long count calendar where the spiral of time is adjusting and all sentient life is changing. It is also how we interact with the sun and how we interact towards anything we're passionate about. So whether that's your job or gardening or the lover you just met or whatever it is, when you spark that passion, we are then sparking also the long count calendar cyclically and how it connects to the sun. So the answer, though it sounds a little bit, I guess, complicated, is that while we're in a 3D body, in a changed solar cycle, it's a yin and yang combination of energy between that solar deity, that I am presence, the Son of God, right? S-U-N of God. It is half the sun, and it is half the human body, the human collective consciousness interacting with it. So if I'm really fired up about a project, I could cause more solar flares. And also what I noticed, not only does fiery, passionate brilliance internally create a sort of combustion, if you will, on the sun, also when we become involved in either collaborative projects or we become involved in conversations with other people that are the passionate about the exact same thing, that takes that to a whole nother level. And that whole other level creates solar flares and solar sparks. Yes, Don, the heat is on for where we are going and what is coming to us. I have never felt it so strongly. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay, because everyone has stopped commenting. So one of the biggest ways, the only way that we are actually interacting with the sun, is our grace and reverence and love and honor towards that solar deity, that Son of God, that creation of God. Thank you, Carly, for telling me that you can hear me. But so it's our respect and honor and love and fire and passionate, whether that's directed at the sun, whether I'm having a conversation with you and I'm directing that passion, that spark, that collaboration, that cooperation. This is amazing and healing. When you and I are on the same page, it's very exhilarating, very brilliant. And we are interacting in a way, thank you, Stacy, that is causing solar flares. So it's a 50-50 yin-yang balance between what our energy, enthusiasm, and passion in our own personal lives, our interaction, cooperation, and working with other people, that is causing more solar flares. It's not simply just the solar cycle, which I find fascinating. Because a lot of times you can say, well, let's look at astrology or let's look at numerology, and all those things are there and all those things are very important to us. They all are energy, right? Numbers, movement of the planets, it's all about energy. So those different movements, if you know what the numbers mean or you know what the astrology means, those things push us or give us power or strength and directions. They also sometimes give us solitude, give us prayer, give us peace, all of these different things. But all of these things are a 50%, 50% a tool that is there, that is available. Now, some people say, well, astrology and numerology, and I don't believe in any of this stuff. But it doesn't really matter what you believe in. The universe is, right? Everything in the universe is a creation. So math and logic, numbers, you could boil every single thing down to numbers. You could stop using words. We could use numbers. That's where the alphabet actually comes from, is giving a numerical value to a letter. But what I realized when I started having a difficulty assimilating and understanding what was going on in my personal life, I stopped looking at the normal, even higher dimensional things in a consciousness way, and started looking at the math and logic of it, because some of these experiences that we're having are so wild that it can feel like it's all in our head or it's all in our imagination. We're making things up, and making things up is creating our reality. But if you're looking for a dose of logic in any situation, simply look at those numbers. Now, this is something I rarely delve into because it leans one of two ways. People get very passionate, then I get a million messages about twin flames, or people get very exuberantly argumentative about how we are our own twin flame. And I don't care what you believe. I'm not here to push your belief on you. But if you've met a person that you think, there's no thinking about it, that you feel connected to someone on a level that is mind-blowing, that you don't understand, instead of looking at it in the ways that we're used to looking at it, like what that person looks like or how that person treats us or whether or not they're talking to us, look at the math of that situation. That is what I can really tell you, because you will be in a mirroring situation. Let's say you've terminated something in your life, like maybe, a marriage or a job that you've had for 20 years. Let's say you terminated something. So that other person will have just gone through an amazing bout of freedom as well. Now, it may not be that you have two people that were married or two people that were in jobs that need to be course corrected. But what I'm saying is there is a bell of exuberant freedom ringing. And now we have 11 people watching. That's justice. This is wild, you guys. First, when I was talking about the sun, we had 19, which is sun and tarot. Now we have that Libra justice energy of 11, right? Which is exactly what I'm talking about. A 1 and a 1 is a mirror of that 1. So that other person is always experiencing what you're experiencing. Now that person may be trying to decide, do I put my house on the market today? Do I put my house on the market next week? Well, you're literally going through your stuff saying, do I really need this? Do I really need that? But the same energy keeps going back and getting exchanged from two people. So if you're experiencing what feels like crazy, sometimes thought invasive, sometimes energy invasive emotions or thoughts or feelings or gestures coming from someone else in a telepathic or strictly energetic way, look at the mirroring in the situation. Okay, so one example would be, what would be numerically a good example? Let's say you met the love of your life and you're 45 and they're 54. When you find, this is really so bizarre, I had no intention of talking about this. I suppose that's why Higher Self has been telling me to get in front of the camera without notes for over a year. And I've been refusing to do it for over a year. So there's going to be, if you want to look at the logical and the practical and the grounded side of it, there's going to be all these palindromes between you and this person. Palindrome means that it reads the same forwards as it does backwards, okay? And it's funny because I think it was about 6 months ago, I was thinking about my car and why am I driving a car called Civic? And I think I've been driving this car for, I don't know, 16 years, something like that. And I thought there's something to it. And I thought like civic duty, civic action. And then when I was Is this love, drama, something? I'm not sure what that means. It can be drama. The whole point of this connection is for two people to course correct and become the highest version of themselves. So if either one of you or both of you are refusing to do what is good for you, what is right for your life, yeah, there can be some drama. The whole point of this connection is that mirroring. And when you hold a mirror up to somebody, it helps them see, their good qualities. It also helps them see where they're lacking. It helps shine a light on something. Okay, so when I was like, what is the message with the civic? And for a while I was thinking like civic center, civic civilization, all of these things. And then it hit me, I'm like, oh, civic is just another palindrome, meaning CIVIC is the same forward as it is backwards. So for example, let's say your first name is Greg, okay? So you can get a piece of paper and just look at some of these mathematical things because they can be pretty mind-blowing. But here are some of the things that I can realize that you can really look at, so you can kind of get out of it's hard to trust your intuition when something is happening on this kind of a level. But just for an example, let's say you meet this person that you feel is your perfect complement, your yin, your yang, your balance, your destiny, okay? Let's say that person's first name is Greg, okay? So let's say Greg is the 7th letter of the alphabet. So that would be the Libra placement, or the 7th place in the zodiac, okay? So if you meet someone named Greg, that's the 7th letter in the alphabet. Now, my last name starts with an H, which is the 8th letter of the alphabet. And this was so bizarre. This came to me, I think, about 2 years ago. So this person's first name is a G, right? So I'm laying in bed at midnight when this happened. They said, count 7 letters into the alphabet. I'm like, okay, G. Now count 8 letters into the alphabet. H. Now circle it. Now go to the back of the alphabet. And I thought, the back of the alphabet. Now go to the back of the alphabet and count 7 letters in. Right? That's S. Now circle it. Now count 8 letters in from the alphabet. Now circle that. So here you have, let's say you've met Greg, right? First initial G, and then T. And then right next to his first name is my H, 8th placement in the zodiac, which is Scorpio, which is also my life path number. It goes on and on and on and on and on. These pieces, these bits of information that come to us through knowing, understanding even in brevity, what placement we are in the zodiac, what our life path number is, and looking at that other person's number. So again, when I count 7 letters in the alphabet, I'm like, okay, G, circle it, H, circle it. I'm like, GH, so what? And then I go to the back of the alphabet. So 7 letters in on both ends of the alphabet is his first name, or his first initial, and then his last initial. Inside of that, right next to it, right exactly on top of it, is the T for Tina and the H for Hammond. You see what I'm saying? It is an exact mirror within the 26 letters of the alphabet. If you count 7 letters in and then 8 letters in the front and the back of the alphabet, our initials are side by side. Okay, there's no. It's math is logic. Okay, so then you have the number, the space of numbers between our 2 initials, between the 2 of us, was a 10, which gets reduced to a 1. 1 is his life path number, okay? So you look at 1, and then you look at 1 being surrounded by 8. Well, 8 is my life path number. His life path number is 1. My life path number is 8. Together, that equals 9, or 189. Would you like to guess what day I met this person on? I met this person on not 189. It's an exact palindrome of us. 189, we met on 918. Well, I had a new debit card recently, and not recently, I think it was like maybe 2 years ago or something, I accidentally was excited to go to the lake, and the lady handed me my change and didn't give me my card back. at the bank. And so they said, well, we destroy it if you don't pick it up by the end of the day. But I didn't know it was there. They didn't call me or anything. So when they gave me this new card shortly after meeting this person, the last three digits of my card, my debit card, are 918, the day we met. Then I have another card. I just looked at the other card. My other card is 9188. And the 3-digit security code on the back is the last 3 digits of his phone number. And I could go on and on and on and on for days. I won't. But if you're having this kind of connection that is mentally, physically, spiritually, telepathically blowing your mind, do yourself a favor and look at maybe the similarities in your birth chart if possible, the numerology that you share, the placement of letters in the name, and all of these other things. It's called a palindrome, okay? And what you will realize when there is a connection that, now we can have passionate about a lot of different things, a lot of different people. Oh, someone here thinks that was, you think all of that was luck. You know what I can say to that is I actually asked for this person, and the day after I asked for this person, they showed up. So initially I thought, wow, I'm really getting better at manifestation. Really has amped up for me in just the last couple years. But the interesting thing is, if someone's born 4 years before you, are you the one that's going to choose their initials? Are you going to be the one that chooses the placement of their first and last name right next to yours in the alphabet? Are you the one that's going to change? Are you the one that's going to create any of this? Now, I do believe in these higher soul connections, that we make these sort of plans to come together. And so there are certain numerical, if you will, whether that's dates, solar cycles, accomplishments, freedoms, contractual things. There are all these things that will pull you onto the path of your destiny if you simply listen to those synchronicities. Now, those number synchronicities and names and all those things, they're not coming to you for such a shallow reason. I have seen for 6 years on social media the constant bombardment of people just typing 222 or 11 or 11 or 444. But you're leaving yourself out of the equation if you're just, people do it to me all the time. They send me messages that just say 444, right? So it's not just about the number. That would be the same as saying the sun is just going through this incredible cycle. It has nothing to do with its interaction with humanity. Sun, S-U-N, of God, and children of the sun. We are the children of God, right? So our interaction with the sun is causing things to shift. Now, the solar cycle is there. It exists. It's part of the spiral of time. Right? And we chose to incarnate in this particular, on this particular spiral of time so that we could have that interaction. But just like we came here to interact with the sun and, maybe garden like me or landscape or interact with sentient life, we also made a plan to come here and interact with other people. Okay, like I said, this energy of solar brilliance, the energy of the sun is taking action, okay? It's the divine masculine energy is, I take action, I speak, I project, I put out there. What is my path? The divine feminine is the representation of the moon. I attract, I give light, I give off the light shown from the masculine energy. So this is not just your partner. This works within self. It works within the sun and the other, solar parts of the solar system with the universe. We are mirroring everything. But if you feel like you've met someone and it's driving you crazy, or you can't stop thinking about them, or all of these other things, and people who haven't gone through this do not understand it. They do not think it is rational. They will not understand a word you say. I know I have talked to people, many, many people about this. And like I said, it's one of the reasons I don't believe in it. Either people go over the deep end, or I get hundreds of messages about talking about this mirrored dynamic, or people really shut down. Okay, so either way, that is a trigger for you. And whatever is triggering you is your opportunity to figure out what your block is. I'm not sure why you're saying we should focus on good things, not bad things. I haven't said one single, what, in my opinion, anything negative or anything bad. I'm talking about our ability to relate, create, and interact with the sun and people on our path of destiny. How you could find a negative thing in that, I'm not sure. Maybe you haven't experienced this thing, so I'm talking to people that have experienced this thing. How does this person know me and my mannerisms, what car I drive, how do I hear them talking to me, or all these things. So I'm speaking to those, I am speaking to those people that have experienced this, and I'm saying if you really would like to give that thought process a little bit of a rest, instead of trying to understand a connection that is earthly in some ways, cosmic in some ways, but it's basically, there's no explanation for it, right? So it can be hard when you're trying to explain. Now we have our life path 18 up on the screen. Okay, so it can be hard to understand, hard to go through, hard to explain when you don't understand how someone is seeing into your life or feeling into your life, or they know where you are, what kind of car you drive, or what your mood is, or whatever. And I'm just simply giving the guidance to look at perhaps your birth chart, the number sequences between the two of you, and things like that. There has been a lot of exploiting energy when it comes to this topic. That's one of the other reasons people talk about narcissists and empaths, and all of those things are very true and very part of our reality, okay? But if you can say, you know, my person is a jerk, or my person is weak, or my person doesn't understand me, and you're actually really have met that person and you're really in that dynamic, you're mirroring that. So then you are saying to yourself that you are weak, that you are untrustworthy, that you are a narcissist, whatever. These relationships are hard to explain, okay? And sometimes they can feel invasive. That's why I'm saying look at the letters, look at the numbers, look at the geometry between you, the birth chart, which the birth chart is nothing but, you know, drawing lines from here to there. Your birth chart is just a powerful piece of sacred geometry that is going to coordinate and coalesce with what is in that other person's patterns, birth charts, behaviors, whatever. So while you're saying, yes, I've met my twin flame and he's such a jerk and he really, no. So either you haven't met that person then, right? Because when you meet, the whole idea is to course correct. So yeah, that person could look at me and say, wow, Tina, you have some things that are not great that you could really change about yourself. And I could do that same thing to that person. But in actuality, it's for course correction. So you never really feel that way. You feel like, wow, that person feels a little bit unlucky, or a little lack of courage right now. I'm just using an example. They have a lack of courage or a lack of freedom. And you can just simply wish or send the energy of courage and abundance to that person, instead of saying, this person is a coward. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. These normal everyday relationships, you can just say, that person's a jerk, that person's a narcissist, that person's a coward. But when it comes to this mirroring connection, you look at that person and say, wow, that person has really had their courage trampled on. They've really had their dreams trampled on. Maybe they inherited all these, you know, patterns and traits from family belief systems. I really love to see that person go towards courage. I would love to see that person go towards courage, go towards strength, go towards freedom, go towards course correction. There may be a lack of understanding when you don't understand why the person is saying or doing what they're saying or doing, or not saying anything or not doing anything. but the love is always there no matter what. There's no, I don't like this person anymore. I hate this person because they're a jerk and they can't get their life together. When you meet this person, no matter what my shortcomings are or what your shortcomings are, or the greatness or the shortcomings that we can even recognize in each other, um, the whole point of that is gaining the courage and the strength from somebody who just understands you. And that's the biggest part. It's the yin yang complement, just like everything else I've been talking about. It's not just the solar cycle, it's not just the brilliance coming from the Son of God, everything that is life sustainable. It's our energy working with the spiral of time in this at this solar juncture, just like it's me working with my destiny. I could say, wow, I hope this person feels better. I hope they feel free. I hope they feel light. I hope they feel loved. I hope they feel honored. Whatever they're not feeling is what I hope they make the choice to do or to feel. Not, I don't like you, or I don't like you anymore. I don't want to talk to you anymore because you are not the way I want, or you're not doing this. There's nothing but love in this kind of connection. Okay? There is this big, brilliant door in front of us. Okay? This door may feel scary and it may feel unknown. It may rock you at a level within your body's energy center where, ooh, maybe doing this or saying this or calling this person or taking this new job or going after this new thing, maybe it feels unsettling. Maybe it gives you the feeling within the root of the body, the root chakra, wow, this is really unknown territory. Am I going to be safe? Am I safe to do this? But you have to know when you're looking straight ahead at that very passionate door of desire, of strength, of brilliance to open those doors of your destiny, of your future, that there is never a guarantee. The only guarantee in life is that if you have passion and you really want to pursue something, is that you open that door, whether you know what's behind that door, how you're going to get to that door, where you're going to go once you open that door, how things are going to work out, right? It's all about, and this mirroring process and this relationship with us and the sun, with us and sentient life, with us and our fans, family and friends, with us and this partner that we came in to mirror, to show us where we are most brilliant. So it goes both ways. But with the sun, with sentient life, with our partner, we come in here to hold a mirror up to that person and say, this is the brilliance that I see, that I know that you have in your soul. And you may not be working it right now. You may not be shining it right now. And what's behind door number one may be very unknown. But what are you going to do with yourself if you never go up and knock on that door and invite yourself in, or give yourself an invitation to make these beautiful changes that are course correction? Hence the entire point of running into a twin flame or some kind of mirroring connection where you're showing that person who usually when people meet, they're both struggling, they're both going through maybe isolation, maybe they're feeling limited, they're feeling in their shadow, life isn't working out, I'm not good enough, all of these things. We are here to choose that door that opens our passion and our exuberance for this solar cycle, for these relationships, for our interaction with sentient life, for everything that we came down here to do. It's not just about relationship. It's just not only about the solar cycle. And I've seen this happen a lot in duality where a person is always saying, for example, I remember I worked at a fast food job and one of my friends, his mom was super, super duper religious. And she had a hose running through the bathroom window into the kitchen so she could wash dishes in the sink. And she said to me, and I quote, I will never forget this. I believe I was 16 or 17. She said, if God wanted my water fixed, God would fix my water. And even at 16, I thought, God wants to work with you, but Working with you doesn't mean saying, if God wants me to have my partner, he'll send him in, or if God wants my water to be fixed, he'll fix it. It's like everything else. It is our interaction with sentient life. It is our interaction with the sun that is causing solar flares at this particular spiral of time in the long count calendar. Okay? We came here to interact in a fiery, passionate way with sentient life, with each other. Okay? And a lot of times, especially in the last couple years, when we are in this illusion or shadow or this isolation, like, oh, I really want this thing, I really want to be free, I really want to be liberated, I really want to be on my own, I really want to take action, I want to go after whatever it is that's behind this beautiful door, but you have to knock on it, you have to do it. Okay? And a lot of you have been thinking about doing it, thinking about knocking that door, or maybe blowing it open with some C4. I'm just kidding. But if you waited long enough, you might feel like it's time just to do it, to come crashing in to this job, to someone's life, knocking on someone's door, whatever it is. But we can't always just look out into space and daydream and think that God or higher self or something's going to give us an answer, because that paradigm is, while we're in a 3D body, is the same as our interaction with the sun and the interaction with our partner and the interaction with sentient life. It is a two-way street. Dreaming, talking to higher self or guides or ascended masters all day long is not going to propel that dream into motion. Many of you have taken that motion. Now we all have divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy. Everybody, part of this cycle is us working to balance that, but still there will be one person that resonates or is more on the frequency of feminine, which is attracting, nurturing, and the masculine energy, which is projection, taking action, making a plan, making it happen. So for you, if you've been thinking about, you've been mostly in your receptive feminine energy. That's what feminine means: to receive, to nurture, to listen, and then take action. Then it is for you, the people around you, that will be taking action if you're the one that has already taken action. I think that's pretty simple and self-explanatory, I hope. I know that Dawn and many of you are feeling this, but we came here with a passion and a purpose and a service to humanity, and that is our destiny, and that's why we will feel it, carry over from the last two videos, at a cellular level when there is a person, situation, when something is made for us, okay? And a lot of people believe in God, but they don't believe that God makes all the decisions. God decided what Tina was going to look like and what her voice was going to sound like. No, we had a part in that too. I've talked about this before. We have a part in creating how we look, okay? How the sound of our voices, what we came here to do, what our passion is, what our purpose is, what our service is. That's why you will feel this cellular aliveness when you come into these situations and you meet these people, because that is the way that you designed it, right? We can't put everything on God. We can't say, if God wants my water fixed, he's going to fix it, right? God created the quantum field. The quantum field will show you whatever you show it. So even if we're not all in a twin flame dynamic, or we didn't come here and even choose that, we have to find a balance and a middle ground, okay? You may not believe in twins, you maybe haven't met a twin, whatever, it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, your interaction with the sun is a mirror, so that's a twin energy. Your interaction with sentient life is a mirror, right? So we learn our interaction, our mirroring from the sun, from sentient life, from universal cosmic happenings in the stars, okay? But like everything I've already talked about, it's a collaboration. It's a yin and a yang. If you can believe in God, then you have to believe that he created a quantum field that shows you or mirrors back whatever you get to it. I believe I'm sick, right? Some people believe they're sick. They talk about getting sick or being sick until they get sick, right? It didn't have anything to do with their genetics, really. They know now that genetics only plays a small role in it. What you think is what you create. So there is God, right? There's a source, a creator. The quantum field will show you anything. You can say, you can be one of those people. I've known so many people like this walk around that I worked with eating chips and candy bars all the time. And they would be like, it doesn't matter. I never gain weight. And that's what they said all the time. And their body literally heard that. They walked around eating candy bars and junk food all the time and literally never gained any weight because their verbiage, their words, their spell to the universe is, I'm always in shape. I never gain weight. My body always stays at the perfect weight. No matter what I eat, I can do whatever I want. Okay? It is our yin yang energy in combination with the other people. It's working together and cooperating with lovers, with partners, with coworkers, with family, with friends, with your soul tribe. It is your collaboration and cooperation with the sun that is changing the solar cycle. It's never just the sun. It's never just you, okay? So the thing is, sometimes we can get really closed off. Like, I believe in this certain deity and I don't believe in any other deity. Then I've said this so many times. But if that's the case and I prayed to Jesus and I was healed and someone else prayed to Allah and they were healed, then there's no truth to what I've just said. There is no truth to that. It is not Jesus healing you. It is not Allah or Buddha or, Ganesh removing your obstacles. They are there to assist you. Ganesh can assist you in removing obstacles. But again, you have to be in a yin-yang cooperative, not codependent, but cooperative energy with Ganesh, with Jesus, with the quantum field. Whatever you're waking up and telling yourself in the morning is going to come true, right? It's not praying to anyone with any name that does it. It is your interaction, your belief, your loving vibration, and your joy. And the words coming out of your mouth combined with the feelings that you have in your body. The words that come out of my mouth are, I am healed. The feeling that gives me is love and joy and happy to be alive and healthy, okay? So those words combined with those feelings create your reality. You can look in the mirror every morning and say, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful. I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. But if there's no emotion behind it, you're not going to feel that love for self. You're not going to look at yourself and really feel that you're beautiful, okay? So it's not just about your words. You can tell yourself every day you're healed, but if you don't emotionally back that up with that joy, that bliss, that, that happiness, it's the same as looking in the mirror every day and telling yourself you're beautiful because maybe you're self-conscious about the way you look and you heard that that affirmations help, so you look in the mirror and say sweet things to yourself every day. And that's wonderful for you. That's a great start. But I'm going to go right back to the same thing. It's not just that. It's not just your words. It's not just the sun doing this solar cycle. It's our interaction with self, our passion for life, and our passion for other people that are creating this. It's not you looking in the mirror and saying, I'm beautiful. It's going to change your skin or change your hair or change your eyes or anything else. You have to look in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful. And you have to feel that at the same time that you're saying it. So whatever's coming out your mouth and generating feelings is going to create your reality. So one thing I want to tell you to be extremely careful about, I've understood this for a long time, but it's really frustrating to me sometimes when I'm a singer, okay? I've always been a singer. If anyone's been on here, I think there's 3 or 4 singing video shorts on here, so most of you know that I love to sing. But I get really, what's the word? I'm really conscious of what I'm saying. So this song that's playing on the radio, right? Or I may have put some music on and I love the song and I'm singing every word or I'm rapping every word or whatever it is. But there are words in those songs that I do not want to be pushing out for my energetic field up into the great beyond, right? There are words and lyrics and songs that I don't want to be pushing out to the quantum field and getting those things back. Okay, so when I really love a song and I insist on singing along, I will actually alter some of the words so that I'm not saying things that I don't want to be mirrored back. Right? Even if you haven't signed up for this twin flame dynamic, you're still in a complete and total mirroring interaction with everything. Some people came here for a different sort of job than others. And so, along with working with the sun and working with sentient life and working with our own body, mind, spirit connection, we will also have signed up to have a partner who mirrors our brilliance and shows us the path forward with clarity, with balance, and with joy. Yes, Alanis Morissette. Oh, yes. Back in the day when I used to scream along to Alanis Morissette, my boyfriend, when I was 19 years old, Greg, he looked at me one time in the car and I couldn't help it. I don't sing to show off. Like I sing because it emotionally gets me going, right? So I start singing and he looks at me and he goes, "Can I just hear one song by the original artist, not by Tina Hammond?" I'm like, I guess that hurt me in some ways because I can't help it. You know what I mean? It's like if you're happy, you might start running or skipping down the street. And it's like someone asking you, "Do you have to dance?" I guess maybe it was frustrating to the other person, but I was never someone to scream over top of the music. More someone to add my voice and my emotion on top of Alanis Morissette or the Cranberries or whoever else I was singing along to. Okay. So don't get caught up in the fact that I said the word twin flame or I didn't say the word soulmate and like I said, this is why I don't talk about these things. But no matter what you signed up for, what kind of partnerships, family dynamics, children, all of that you signed up for, you are still in a mirroring with the sun, the part of the solar cycle again, the long count calendar, the spiral in time where we are as an exuberated, brilliant solar cycle that is changing and altering us at a cellular level. Absolutely every word of that is true. But at a cellular level, we are also doing it. It's not just the sun doing it, right? Because I think my point here over everything else is it's not this or that. It's not the sun or the moon. It's not this or that. It's this and that, okay? It's not everything is being created. I'm being upgraded. I'm receiving these photonic packages of information and all this wonderful stuff. Yes, I am, because that's part of the time spiral that we are in. Yes, it is. But it is also that spiral within our DNA spiral. Our DNA is aware that we came in that time and we are doing the same thing as the sun. So you can look at it, some people look at it and say, wow, we're evolving at a cellular level, and they will leave the sun completely out of it. Some people will say, well, the sun is evolving at on such a crazy timeline that it's altering us. Both of those things are true, but they are not the whole truth. The whole truth is that solar spiral, that long count calendar is embodied within the imprint on the cells of your body. Okay, all the way down at a cellular level, your body knew that you were coming in at a time, at a notch, at a nexus point on this spiral of time where, yes, the sun was going to be changing and altering all sentient life, but our DNA spiral had that same nexus point, that same notch, that same trip switch, okay? So we were going to do it anyway. That's why we came here. The sun was going to do it anyway. So we can't keep looking at it's either Jesus or Allah, right? It's either soulmate or it's twin flame. It's either the sun or our DNA's evolution. It's this and it's that. It's all inclusive. As long as we are in a 3D body, everything that we react with, body, mind, and spirit, in our physical and non-physical reality, is altering us. You came at a time, at a notch, at a nexus on the spiral of time where your DNA was going to go through a brilliance, an awakening, an enlivening. And you knew that. You know that at a cellular level. That's why you get excited by the sun. Most people that know this also will spend as much time in the sun as they can. All of that, right? We are aware of it at a cellular level, but we have to stop limiting ourselves, okay, by saying, I'm only experiencing this because I have a twin flame. No, you came in here to do this. Or we as a humanity are only experiencing this because it is the solar cycle. Or we as a humanity are only experiencing this because it is within the DNA spiral itself that the magic is happening. It's all inclusive, right? So everything everybody says is true. That's why I'm telling you it's so important to really listen, pay attention, watch what comes out of your mouth, who you're listening to, who you're talking to, what kind of music you're banging your head to or dancing to or whatever. And I can't help it. There's always songs that have sometimes phrases or words that I definitely don't want to put out there, and I'll change those phrases or those words because I'm very aware of what I'm sending out to the construct of God. That is, whatever I'm sending out is going to come back to me. Now, some people call that karma, okay? It used to be, maybe you came in here 30,000 years ago and you did a bunch of crazy stuff, okay? Maybe you were like Ozzy Osbourne and you rode the crazy train and went off the rails. And this time you came back, maybe to fix or course correct those things. This whole video ended up being about transformation. I have my grandmother's, this must be 100 years old, butterfly brooch. Butterflies represent transformation. We came at a time where we knew that we were going to be doing this. We know what we came here to do and to give brilliance to our destiny. Thank you guys for being so positive. The last video I actually taped over the comments because people had been, the comments needed to be taped over. I was having a really hard time concentrating. Now there's just a couple of you here. I do appreciate the hearts and the starry eyes and the flowers and the prayers and the cosmos and all the little happy faces. I really appreciate that shift itself from some of the comments in the last videos. So it's a very interesting time. As I started this video by saying that a lot of my electronics are malfunctioning, my car is telling me I'm going 65 miles in a 35 mile an hour. YouTube is telling me that I've scheduled a video for 6/18, and I know that today is June 22nd and not 6/18. Okay, so all kinds of very bizarre technical glitches. I've had to set, I wouldn't even really know it. Do I even have a clock in here? No, I don't have a clock. Okay, I have a teeny little alarm clock in my bedroom. Basically, that's so I know what time it is when I wake up in the middle of the night, because it always seems to be at the same time. But I came home and I was out walking and came back in, the stove light, the digital stove light is flashing 9:18. And I'm like, that's weird. So I set it the next day. I went up, it did the same thing. So like 9 days in a row, I know that my power went out. And the only reason I knew that my power went out was because my stove was flashing, okay? We're not seeing, at the moment, any kind of large-scale massive things happening. But for the last year, the undercurrent is I will do, I will go, I will be, I will open that door or kick that door down of my desire, my destiny, my passion. What's behind that door? Do I feel safe about it? No, I don't. But life is an adventure, right? And adventures are not always safe. Maybe if you're climbing a mountain, you need the harness and the gear to do that. Or if you're riding a horse, you need the saddle and the equipment to do that. But still, we're never protected. You're never going to be completely sure. You're never going to be completely protected. You have to knock on that door or make that phone call or turn in your resignation or whatever it is for you without having the answer on the other side. I've been here for a long time. I'm really hot. I'm sweating really bad. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. And happy, happy, happy transformation. If you have felt like taking action for a long time, you're now doing it. If you felt like someone around you in your energetic space is going to take action for a long time, they are now doing it. I will leave you on that note. Everything is a mirror in your beautiful reality. I love you. Bye. Woo!